Welcome back. Big shout out to the subscribers. We need two more for this Sunday's auction draft. I need two more owners that want to step up, get in this auction this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Looking for two owners. Drop me your email in the comment. I'll send you an invite. Let's get it. Let's get at it. So I got to make this video for you guys. We're deep in the heart of draft season. We got to dial it in a little bit. I'm going to be dialing in the starting pitching today. Comprehensive review. We got some stuff to look at. First, I want to make a quick note from the last video. I was talking about spin rates on sliders, and then I referred to Baseball Savant's sliders. So when I said sliders, the pitch, what I meant for sliders on Baseball Savant, if you go to the Baseball Savant, click on the player, go to the player page, in the top right-hand corner, they're giving you this visual slider. That's what I meant by Savant sliders. And you'll see that red is great, and then blue is poor, and they'll pick some categories. And we got to trust Baseball Savant that these are the important categories to look at. For pitchers, it's stuff like velo, K rate, spin rates, hard contact, exit velos, which they want to suppress. For hitters, it's basically the opposite. But I just like that visual because without the numbers, it just gives you a way to just look at the player. So those were the sliders that I meant. Just wanted to touch on that for when you click on the individual players. Lindor is back. Lindor, he's getting ready for a minor league appearance. And this is the difference between a calf strain for a 25-year-old, Francisco Lindor, and a calf strain for 32-year-old Josh Donaldson last season. Lindor can bounce back in 4 or 5 weeks. Donaldson, we almost never saw him again. So if some residual discount is still lingering in there with Francisco Lindor, I'm just saying he's back. I'm not even concerned about the bases. That kid is a little superstar, so I'd get back in on Lindor with confidence, especially if he's coming at a little bit of value. Starting pitching today, there's a couple guys, there's a couple pitchers I just want to point out before I do a full list review is we got something going on in San Diego. We got to talk about Strom and Paddock. So these guys have limited innings in the minors, but they've been filthy. The K to B percentages are filthy. Paddock is young. He's a high riser. Strom is like 26 or 27, and he has stuff. Roster Resource will tell you that both of these guys are going to break camp as like the number 2 and number 3 starters. How long are they going to go? We don't know. Paddock can't go 200 innings, but he could give you 100 to 140 of filth. He could start in the minors. It's just something you got to be aware of him rising. Strom is 26 or 27. They're not going to be as cautious with his arm because he's more of an adult man at this point. Strom looks like he's going to break camp. He's got to fire way up your list. He's going for virtually free at this point. I wanted to mention them. Two guys that I'm a little concerned about that I was high on in the beginning of the season, but you know, injuries and just things change. We got Josh James. Josh James did the quad, but the quad is getting better. You know, he's 26 years old and he's ready to start the season. They look like they're going to slide him into the pen. Not going to get the roster, not going to get the starting spot. A little frustrating, but he probably will give you quality innings out of the pen and eventually, hopefully, regain that starting pitching spot. The Astros starting rotation is still a little bit murky. Is it going to be McHugh? Is it going to be Peacock? You know, one of these guys is going to do it. They may shift in and out throughout the season. Same issue coming up with Alex Reyes. Alex, they're holding him to 1 inning in the spring. They want to baby him. They want to keep his innings down. If St. Louis wants to go deep into the season and win games, maybe make the playoffs, they'd rather use Reyes later. So they're going to make sure he's healthy. They're going to pitch him 1 inning at a time. Relieving is unhealthier for the arm, so I'd rather they don't even do this where he warms up, he doesn't know when he's going to come in, irregular rest, but this is how they're going to do it. I still like Alex Reyes because I think he gives you those high K gem innings in relief, and maybe you can wait and buy some time, but we got to cool off the interest there. It's a matter of can you tolerate, can you stash him or not. Prospect-wise, you got Forrest Whitley. He's this year's Walker Buehler, but when does he get the call? How many innings does he give us? He's completely filthy. He's got nothing to prove in the minors. When is he going to come up for the Houston Astros? You got to be aware of him. Jesus Luzardo. He's been striking guys out. He's a little smaller in stature, but the stuff is filthy. When does he get the call? When does he break camp? He's a stash guy. And then we got to look at Los Angeles. I like Julio Urias, another stash guy. Again, innings limit. He might only throw 100, 120. They're going to be quality. Are you ready to stash him? Are you ready to wait? Obviously, you've got to make the first move when you get the word that he's coming up, or if a Dodgers pitcher goes down. Right now, it looks like Ross Stripling. So you got Stripling probably starting it off. He was very good last season, injury prone all through his career. I mentioned before he's throwing the curveball harder. Guys can't hit it. He had good ratios. Maybe you get both of them. You can get Dodgers pitchers and just try to deal with it. So the reason I'm coming out with this today, I'm having a little bit of podcast problems. I'm having some issues. And one of the things I'm seeing is guys are just saying, well, let's discuss this tier. Let's discuss this tier, the next tier, the next tier. And they're sure that these are the tiers. I don't necessarily agree with those tiers. There's some guys you have in the tier that I want no part of. So the tiers are merging together. You don't know if that's your tier or why they put them in tiers. My other thing is, guys, it's the middle of March. You can't just be coming out with your SP tiers now with these kinds of mistakes. We've been talking about SPs for months. We've been tinkering with the list. We know suddenly that we've got to move up a Strom or a Paddock where we can fit them in. We know we got to devalue a Severino, but these guys are just started from scratch. So I'm going to try to give some more tools so that you can actually assess a tier and actually deal with it. So my one particular thing, when you're looking at starting pitching on Fangraphs, go to the pitcher. This is how you zoom in, how you really get a feel for this guy, what you have to do. Starting pitcher, game logs. Click on the game log, it'll give you the individual game. And now these are the things I'm scanning when I'm looking at the game log. Yeah, I want to see the K per 9. And what you'll notice, guys can fluctuate. They can be really filthy. They can be a 15 or 16 one game, and then they didn't strike guys out in the other game. So you see the fluctuation. What's that walk per 9? What's that left on base? Of course, look at the xFIP and the FIP. If the ERA is way down, but the xFIP said he was going to be 5s, maybe that ERA is a mirage. You got to watch out for that. The other thing I've been caring a lot about is the innings pitched. I've been buying a little bit more Reynaldo Lopez because he's throwing 96 and he was going 6 or 7 innings. He's just pounding the zone, keeping his pitch count down. The guys that make me a little more nervous, although I'm high on him, Lucchesi. Why do you only go 5 innings? Josh James, a 3-pitch guy. If the third offering isn't great, are they pulling you early because they don't want you to get hit that third time through the rotation? And so just to segue into the third time through, pitchers' batting average against is dropping drastically that third time through the rotation. This is why you're seeing more bullpen work. This is why you're seeing Tampa Bay put in the opener, because they're trying to protect guys from showing their pitches, showing their arsenal, and having to go through that order the third time. This is why somebody with a 4-pitch mix or a 5-pitch mix is a more premium starter that can go through the rotation more times, give you 6, 7 innings. Your Zach Wheeler, your Scherzer. This is why these guys, they can go 8 or 9. They can just keep throwing stuff and keep hitters off balance, whereas your Chris Archer, more of a 2-pitch guy. He's trying to add a curveball. He's trying to be a 3rd-pitch guy. They might not go as deep into games. So I think you got to zoom into your game log. Here's another thing on the game log. So once you go to game logs, there's a sub-menu on Fangraphs, and you can go into individual stuff. You can check your plate discipline. You can see your swinging strike percentages. You can see your zone contact. You can see your O swing, how much they're getting guys to chase. Again, for the pitchers, you want that high O swing. You want guys chasing. If they're going to live in the zone, you want that low Z contact. If we think a bad hitter is a Z contact of 82, 81, sub 80, we'd like our pitchers to be making everybody a bad hitter. So that's something to zoom in on. Again, once you're at game log, click on pitch type. Now they'll sort for you. They'll sort it by fastball. You can check velocities. You can check percentage usage. You can also check pitch mix. Are they 3-pitch, fastball, slider change? Are they 4-pitch, and how much are they using it? So a nice mix is when a guy is fastball 40, 50%, not all day, but he's using a curve, a slider, and a change at about 14%, 10, 14%. He's a 4-pitch mix guy. If he's just sprinkling it in If he's a 1%, 2%, he's just throwing it in there sometimes, a little change of pace. You might even look historically over a guy's pitch mix and see that he stopped throwing the curve and he added a slider or he added a cutter. So look at those velos, look at those percentage usages. This is what I want to go to here. This was the main reason. Chris Pollock comes out. He's at pitcherlist.com. Nice resource that I've been using a little bit more. Just a quick segue. So this is Pollock, who I generally agree with. I agree with his assessments. I believe that him and I get in. We like swinging strike. We like contact rates. He gets into the numbers and he gets technical, and then he makes his opinion. So he loves pitchers. But then he says he waits on pitchers. He waits. He doesn't want to get that top, spend a big pick on the 1, 2, 3 rounds because the hitters are so premium and they're going to fall off. And you really have to be out in front of power. You've got to have a complete infield. So we tend to wait. And if we know pitchers, we know where to look in the middle or late rounds. We know how to adjust on the waiver. Another guy was listening to Rasball. You know, obviously Scherzer is a great pitcher. We're not going to hate there. Sale, even with the shoulder, yeah, we know he's a great pitcher. We'd like to have him, but we can't because we're too busy buying premium bats early, your Story, your Judge, whoever it might be, and we just have to wait and piece the staff together. We're willing to take on a little bit more risk. So the key here, and I've been trying to help some people out because we're deep into draft season. We've got to dial it in a little bit. Some things have been moving around. And one of the keys is that I've been telling guys on how to kind of make the difference in your draft is guys I won't touch. And I think in the comments somebody else asked me, who's the list of the guys you won't touch that you want no part of? So that's what I'm going to do here today. We're going to do kind of a quick comprehensive review based on Scott Pollock's recently released list on Pitcher List. And I'm just going to talk about from the top where I'm at, how I like to deal with this. Let me just get it ready so I can kind of see what's going on here. Here we go. So this is what I'm seeing. Scherzer, I'm not paying the round 1 pick. He's great. I'm just not paying it. We're talking auction. If I'm going to pay up and I want to spend $45 for someone amazing, I love Jake DeGrom. If Jake DeGrom went up in velo to 99, he will repeat with that Cy Young stuff. He's flashed it, he's fluctuated, but it seems that he's locked it in, and the control is premium. Chris Sale, I'm too concerned about the shoulder. I can't do it. Verlander, it's the home run rate, and he's 35. I can't do it. Pollock has, you could go along with me. Jump over to Pitcher List. Grab this list so you can see me. I'm just going down the names, and I'm just going to touch on them, where I'm at, and some things I won't touch. Bauer, the secret's out. If he added a pitch, everybody wants a piece. The nervous component here is that it took him a little while to get it going. He's never pitched over 180 innings. So what we're looking for is him to jump over 180, make it to 200, not be injured this whole season, but the stuff is there. Garrett Cole broke out last season, going to continue to bring it. Kluber's the guy that is the regression there, or does he have one more season of acedom? Probably it's going to be a mix. There's probably going to be some gems, but occasionally he's going to get touched up. His issue is hittable fastball. So he's got to work with his off-speed stuff. He's going to be there, but he's pricey. Block A Snell, I think there's some disbelievers. I still think if I'm paying, he's coming at value. Noah Syndergaard, you know, the dream's over for me. The dream's over. I've had him so many seasons in a row that I'm not sure what's left of Noah. Ks were down, walks were up at the end of last season. I'm not sure what kind of pitcher he is. I don't think I want to pay $35. I don't think I want to pay number 1 ace prices for Syndergaard. I'd rather move around and get a piece of Bauer. Aaron Nola, great pitcher, but the velo's 91, 92. It's just a little bit slow for me when you're asking me to pay $30 or $35 for an ace. I think he took his step forward, but he's still not top 5, and I'm not sure at that velo if he's got top 5 upside. Carlos Carrasco, often injured, but great stuff. He's an option there. You're paying the price. He's not coming at a discount for sure. Walker Buehler, the guy I love, the stuff I love. So the Verducci report comes out every season. Guys that make more than a 30% innings increase are marked with a higher risk of injury rate, and Walker Buehler is that candidate. He went from something like 100 or 120 innings to 180. He's a Tommy John candidate, but guess what? He's already had it once, so maybe he's fine. This dude is a competitor. He doesn't want to have his innings limits capped. So I'm still getting in on Walker Buehler for just the stuff. Jameson Taillon, I'm not touching him. The hype is out of control. I don't think that the slider usage later at the end of the season was that good. And for the last month and a half of the season, his K to B percentage was 14.5. That's pedestrian. That's pedestrian. Jameson Taillon, I'm a no-go. Clevenger I like, but I think it's guys that missed out are now jumping in on him. He was great value last season, but now he's supposed ace or number 2 starter, and it's not going very cheap. You got Clevenger there, 4-pitch mix. Again, the fastball's a little bit of a problem. Patrick Corbin, who I like at value. If we're looking to pay, I'm probably talking 20, 25. I don't want to go up much more than that. I've read some things about he's throwing the slider all the time. But what happens is the league is going to adjust. They're going to know that he's throwing the slider all the time. And some of those high-end results that he got last season may not actually translate into this season. He's on a new team. He's on a new contract. These are things that sometimes lend to a guy regressing a little bit. But then you have Zach Wheeler. Guys are just missing out. I mean, Zach Wheeler is that ace. I keep getting him everywhere he's coming at value. If he's 15, 16, 17, I've even lived there with him as my number 1 starter. We still got Luis Severino up here. Cortisone shot. The injury risk is too much. Is he about to go Tommy John? Is the shoulder going to get shut down? He just appears unhealthy to me. At this point, I'm not really touching. The value would have to drop so low, but even at $20, I don't want a guy to just disappear on me. So I'm sorry, Luis Severino. I love you. I love the hard stuff, but I'm probably not touching you. James Paxton, never healthy. I don't know why he's even up this high. Never healthy. I'm not touching. I'm not spending 25. I'll spend 10. I'll spend 12, but he's not going at that. So I'm sorry to Paxton. Jack Flaherty is the guy that's shown flashes. He's shown the K to BB percentage. There's a spot where I would reach. I would take a shot on him. Know that the risk is there, but he's young enough and he's throwing hard enough. I like Jack Flaherty still. Strasburg, it's the injuries and that he's 31 or 32. The stuff isn't going to take a step forward. He's got innings on that arm. He's probably going to do the whole injury risk thing again. The fastball looks a little bit straight. I watched him in spring. He looks healthy. He looks like he's been working out. He's got his legs underneath him. Maybe he wants to, he's a guy to take a shot at. He's kind of in this grouping with like Darvish and even Kershaw, who I'm pushing down. Let me keep moving through this list. Greinke, no way. No way. We don't have to talk about it any further. Is he going to sit at 89? I'm not touching him. That's a guy I like to nominate. Let somebody put Greinke on their team. Miles Mikolas. See, this is the confusing part. The industry, you're listening to it, they want to be down on him. They don't think the K rate is there. But go to his game log and look at how he finished his last 5 games. Look at that K per 9 for the last 5 games of the season. Are you a little more interested now? Yeah, probably. He's a control freak, and he's working at 95. He's been in the gym. He's talking about his kinetic chain. I like Mikolas. I like a piece of that. And we got Yu Darvish. People want to talk about his historic strikeout rates. Yeah, they're historic. They're historic when he was in his prime, when he was 25, 26, 7, 8. He's 32 now. We don't even know what's wrong with the arm. He's had some injuries. Okay, he's touching 97 on the gun. This is a risk-reward piece, but what are you going to pay? I'd prefer 15, 18, 20, 25. No, not 20, 25. Just pay up and get Bauer. Pay up and get Buehler. You got Darvish there. Herman Marquez. The park is bad. The thing I liked? Jonathan Lucroy was briefly in Colorado. He said that Herman Marquez has the best stuff he's ever caught. So Marquez has the stuff. It's whether you think he's a first half of last season guy or a second half of last season guy. I'm taking the risk. I think he's young enough. And he had 230 strikeouts last season. A step forward is 260, 270. I'm going to take a risk there because I'm not taking a risk on these next 2 guys. David Price. No, too old for me. Too old, refusing to get surgeries. I don't know what he's going to do. He's not that filthy to me. I don't want it. Clayton Kershaw. Nope, not interested. Not going to happen. I'm just moving through this list and see it. So it's starting to thin out. We're starting to get more questions. Jose Barrios. I like the situation, but why is he so bad on the road? Why does he get walky? Does he have the step forward? What I'm noticing is where there's a gap in the talent in the draft, guys get pushed up into the vacuum. And this is happening for the hitters too. They get pushed up. And I kind of think Berrios is this guy. Well, we're out of aces, you know. After Kershaw, who's next? Well, I guess it's Berrios. But I don't know if he makes the step forward. You ready to pay 18, 22? Why not just go up? Just go up and get Buehler. So we got Berrios there. I think he might be overpriced. I'd like him to take a step forward. I think Minnesota will get more wins, but I'm not sure there. Luis Castillo, I do want to get back in on. I don't think the discount is there. Robbie Ray, you make me nervous. You're making me nervous. So I'm not really going with Robbie Ray. Heavy slaughter usage. Maybe it was a fluke season. I know there's going to be Ks, but I don't think there's ace upside. Mad Bum. Here's a chance. Mad Bum was a top 10 guy. Mad Bum peaked at maybe being a number 5, number 6 starter in the league. So there's a thought. There's a little bit there. I think he's healthier than Kershaw. He's a little bit younger than Kershaw. Maybe you take a piece. But just know that he could just middle on you all season. You know, do you want to do that? Nick Pivetta, no way. I'm not doing it. Too many home runs. The step forward last season, I think, is an illusion. Masahiro Tanaka. I'll do it. I'll do it if it's at value, but he's not really coming at value. 15, 16, mixed in with blowups in bad park. We know he's pitching through a tear in the elbow. I'm not sure. Kyle Hendricks, no way, not going to happen. Soft tosser, I'm not touching him. It's nice that he's on this list. Charlie Morton, 35, has never been healthy, not touching him. Ross Stripling, filling in, limited innings, doesn't really get healthy. I can't pay for it. Fulton Newix, is it Tommy John? Is it Tommy John Mike Fulte? I'm not sure, but his elbow's balking a little bit. J.A. Happ, 2 average, coming over to New York. I don't really want to pay there. The UC Kikuchi train is off the tracks. So this is the issue with Kikuchi. He didn't have better hype than Darvish. He didn't have more hype than Tanaka. Not more than Ohtani. He's below those guys. So what do you expect? He's not going to blow up and be better than those guys in their prime. If you like Kikuchi, why don't you just take Tanaka? He's already adjusted to the ball, to the starts, to the league. You know, you bring over Kikuchi. He's an unknown quantity. I was watching him in spring. He threw something down the plate, and it got promptly deposited in the back seats, and he just watched it go like this. So Kikuchi may have his growing pains. They want to limit his starts. Every 5th or 6th start, they're going to just pitch him 1 inning. Is that going to frustrate you? Do you want to pay up for that? We got Kenta Maeda. I like the stuff. You know, but who's better, Kikuchi or Maeda? Very close. Andrew Heaney won't touch. Tyler Skaggs won't touch. These are some Angels pitchers that the stuff isn't that good. They have like 5 games of 30 games a season that are decent. I want no part of it. Nathan Eovaldi, I've been pushing him up because I like the pitch mix, but go to his game log. He's not throwing any innings. And when he self-destructs, it's like home run after home run, explosions, 2 innings. I don't want any part of it. There's some talk that he might just be better as Boston's closer. So I'm not really paying up for Eovaldi. So when all these pitchers kind of start to dissolve, you get like a Shane Bieber. But the Biebs hype is going out of control. The big issue with Biebs is he in the zone too much? Does he have strikeout potential? The walks are down, but sometimes he's getting blown up. We're looking for the step forward. I'm still taking a shot on Bieber, but I don't want to spend much more than 15, 12. You know, I want him to come at a little bit of a discount. There's Joe Musgrove hype. He's got Musgrove here. Pittsburgh, good park, less run protection. I just find that the Pittsburgh pitching staff makes them throw the fastball too much, doesn't get the most out of the pitchers. Musgrove is more of a flyer. The K to B percentage isn't there. The strikeouts are down a little bit. Some got to think about. Tyler Glasnow, divisive. Great in AAA, gets killed in the league. I guess he's having some mechanical issues. He's changing his windup in the spring. This is a guy, yeah, there could be high strikeout upside, but go to his game log, he could continue to just give up bombs. So the hype, the helium is on Glasnow has pushed him way up. Kyle Freeland. If you didn't like Marquez for the park, you can't like Kyle Freeland for the park. I know he had some good games. I'm not really doing it. Cole Hamels, the journeyman, the way his stuff goes and how he got back on track at the Cubs, I like that. I'm okay there. But John Lester, no way. No thank you. I won't touch that. That's a guy to nominate Eduardo Rodriguez, I don't think so. I don't think that the land knee can really hold him. He continues to have issues. Jimmy Nelson, I do like. I like the breakout. He injured his shoulder diving to first base. It wasn't necessarily a pitching injury, it was a shoulder injury. Maybe he has a little bit of that stuff that he recaptured, and he's 6'6". You know, he's a big boy. He had some velo. I'm okay there. Michael Fulmer, no way. This is where he listed Strom. He's all the way up here. Yes, that K to B percentage looks too good. He's in a good park. Derek Holland, 32, good park. He's got him up here. Archer, okay. Lucchesi, okay. Rich Hill, I'm not dealing with it. Ryu, I'm not dealing with it. Urias, yeah, I mentioned it before. The issue is the stash. When are we going to get him? Are you ready for him to tie up your bench? Colin McHugh, I think he could be good value as he transitions from middle relief back into a starting role. We kind of don't know what we're going to get. Merrill Kelly, an unknown commodity. Jeff Samardzija, I will never touch. Gets blown up. He can look good. He can look bad. It just doesn't have the ceiling to get me excited. I'd rather take some shots. Reynaldo Lopez, yes, that's who I like. Mentioned him before. Then he drops a bunch of prospects here. Luzardo, Paddock, Whitley, Reyes. Justice Sheffield got sent down to AAA. We got to wait for him. So that's your wait bunch. Paddock looks like he's got the best chance to break camp, so take a shot there. Take a shot on Reyes in the pen. Sonny Gray, no, thank you. Not going to touch him. Stuff isn't there. He's small. He's regressed. His best days are behind him. I don't want it. Alex Wood, I don't know if he's even on my list. I know we got the park change. Very streaky, very inconsistent, injury prone. Not going to happen. Matthew Boyd, with my last pick of the draft, maybe. Jake Arrieta, never going to happen for me. Rick Porcello, never going to happen. Keuchel, never going to happen. Injury prone, ground ball candidate, doesn't even have the job. I don't want it. Kevin Gausman in Atlanta, never going to happen for me. He's just never taken the step forward. He's got a fastball that's super hittable. He's a little bit injured. I want no piece of that. Jose Quintana, he's fallen apart. I didn't like him when he was good. You know I'm not touching him when he's bad. Michael Wacha, I'll give a shot to. I don't know why he's not pitching up to where his stuff is. His fastball, 95, 4-pitch mix. He just can't put it all together. He was never right after they ran him into the ground in that playoff run. Marco Gonzalez, too safe, don't want it. Anibal Sanchez, just stop. Just stop talking about that. That will never happen for me. I got to look up some of these guys. Pablo Lopez, I'm going to have to look that up. Kyle Gibson? Kyle Gibson's a weird value pick. Take him as your last starter. Minnesota's going to be better. Gibson is better than people want to give him credit for. I'm okay there late. John Gray, I do want a piece of again. Kyle Ray, I got to look him up. Don't know who that is. I'm just burning down this list until we close out the show. Michael Pineda, sure, give him a try. I like that kind of upside. Zach Eflin with the stuff, I like that upside. Luke Weaver, prospect hype pushed him up. Then he destroyed us. He's got the humidor. Maybe he comes back. Maybe he's some guy somewhere in between. He's okay to take a shot on late. Newcomb, too wild, godly. This list just starts to go off the rails. Eichhoff, Cahill, Martin Perez, Mike Minor, Junis. He's rounding out his top 100. Steven Matz way down here at the end. I'm higher on Matz than the last 15 guys I just mentioned. Trevor Richards, under pitch values, if you just search pitch values and change the dates, you'll see I believe it's Trevor Richards that had a good fastball. Have to double check on that. But pitch values fluctuate. They fluctuate game to game. They fluctuate a lot. I think you can look at them full season. But that guy's stuff, they're not very consistent. Teheran, not going to play for me. Tuki Toussaint, youngster, give him a chance. I like Derek Rodriguez's mound presence. And Aaron Sanchez has been working on controlling the blisters. That's just kind of my review. Hopefully that helped a little bit on some guys I'm going to touch and not touch. And what happens for me is once you get the guys out of the way that you're not going to touch, you start to see a little bit more, well, who do I have to have? You know, see the guys you want to get off of. See who you have to have. Not touching guys is important. It's even important with the bats. I'm just going to mention a couple bats here before we close it out. Jeff McNeil, because of the injuries to Jed Lowry, and the other guy at the Mets, he's getting some playing time. He's only 26 or 27, high average, heady player, maybe a late bloomer. I like him to fill in early, and he's cheap. I'm getting up on Luke Voit. I want a Pete Alonso to break camp. And there's some Robles appeal. Robles is getting pushed way up. You look deeper and deeper into those numbers, and this guy is 5 cat stud. build around him. I like him a lot. Hopefully this helped a little bit. I mean, at this point, we know the draft. I might come back with some hitters. I'm seeing a couple hitters in drafts occasionally hit the draft board that weren't on my list. I'll do some investigation. Big shout out to all the subscribers. Get into this league. Hit me with some comments. Let me know where you're at. We're deep draft season. Once the season begins, it's going to flip over, and we got to talk about waivers. I'm going to be checking preseason. Let's dominate some drafts. Let's get back into some auctions. I'm out.